way. Trish Regan is here. Trish Regan's here, former Goldman Sachs analyst, one of America's great business journalists. Trish, it is good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you.
You're a big Ron DeSantis fan, and now you're going to tell me why that won't work. I kind of like the idea.
There's not that it won't work, just that it's a whole lot more complex. And, you know, look, I credit DeSantis with offering something, right? Because nobody's talking about these things, first of all. And we've got to find a solution because he's positively right. Truck drivers should not be paying for someone's PhD in gender studies. Enough already. But really, this goes back to, Leland, the 1960s. Alice Rivlin, who I met a number of times, she worked with Lyndon Johnson to come up with some kind of program where they could offer these opportunities to kids who otherwise couldn't afford them, right? And they tried many different things. They thought, well, maybe we have the banks securitize these, but then it was a problem because then, you know, the banks were on the hook, or maybe the banks were just trying to make too much money off of it. They went back and forth. Eventually, they decided on the model that you see today, which, by the way, Alice Rivlin herself, before she died, former vice chair at the Fed, she was at the CBO, all this, she did say we unleashed a monster. And you could say that again. It was actually Nixon who took her plan and put it in after Johnson as the blueprint. And it has just turned into a disaster. I mean, basically, they've given these kids blank checks. Go buy whatever you want, right? Like if somebody gives you a blank check to buy a house, like you don't think that that's going to cause the price of the house to go up, all the houses to go up. And the schools themselves have no incentive, right, to rein in costs because it's free money and we can't have free money. So I like what he's saying in essence, but I also just worry, and this is funny coming from me, but I do worry that you want some diversity in the student body in the subjects that they study, right? So you don't want everybody being an economics or business major, an engineering major. We need a lot of them, but you need the musicians, you need the artists, you need the philosophers too. Point. So you've got to come up with some kind of construct. And I look at Europe, right? Like, I mean, Europe's a heck of a deal.
Hold on.
Hey, we should all send our kids to Europe for school because it's basically free.
Right. No, and look, I did not expect you to go extolling the virtues of music majors, but hey, that's why we had you on, because
you major at one point.
I know, that's why I said it.
That came to my sense.
But you think about these universities, why not make the universities do it, right? The Harvard endowment, $50 billion. That's a higher GDP than countries of Jordan, Tunisia, and Libya. Princeton, $35 billion endowment, higher than GDP of El Salvador, Honduras, and Cambodia. Okay, all of those endowments throw off billions of dollars a year in investment, which, by the way, is tax-free. Contributing to the endowments are tax-free. So, in other words, we, the taxpayers, do underwrite the universities still in that way. Why not put the universities on the hook and say, look, if you want all these tax breaks, then you've got to fund the music majors and everybody else?
I think that is a fair idea if we put those requirements around them. In other words, they should have some skin in the game. You want to make sure that, and that's maybe where we get in there and we have some influence so that we don't wind up with just a full school of all business and marketing majors, et cetera. I think that we need to rehaul this entire system. I'm just going to say that. So I appreciate what he's saying. I don't think it's perfect. I think it's one part of the solution. Finding a way for schools to have some more skin in the game. Also, finding a way to contain these costs, because again, you can go to the University of Bologna in Italy, okay, the oldest university around, really, and that's their claim to fame. It's a very good school, and it's going to cost you some $2,000 a year, even as an American. So what's going on that you can go to school for $2,000 a year? And by the way, they have a bunch of programs in English too, interestingly enough. Why is it so cheap there? And it's not just taxpayers subsidizing it. They've reined in the cost. So you don't have the fancy cafeterias and the gymnasiums and the spas, and you don't have the bloated administration with presidents of universities making insane amounts of money. I mean, there's a lot of waste.
Yeah, no kidding. But here, I want to sum this segment up this way. You have given hope that music majors, too, can make a difference in the world. Successful careers are possible. It's good to see you. It's been too long. We'll talk before Christmas, all right?
Indeed.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.